is a house built out of stone, wooden floors, walls, and window sills.
Starting when I was about in kindergarten, I was just very on edge a lot, and I was just unhappy. I would kind of keep it together at school, but I would come home and I was just a very unhappy little 5-year-old. Freshman year, I was really excited for high school, and so I started at Granite Bay, and I don't really know, but the dynamic just with myself, if that makes any sense, changed a lot, and I wasn't happy anymore. Just my relationship started deteriorating with my family especially, and slowly with my friends. And basically January of freshman year was my first hospital visit, and that was extremely hard. It really sucks, honestly. I was diagnosed with a severe anxiety disorder and depression. They started me on some medication. Nothing really helped, and so sophomore year, I continuing at Granite Bay. I don't really recall things getting better, and things kind of got worse when sophomore year started, and I did not know what was going on with myself, and no one really knew. That's the thing, is I think I kept it under control pretty well, and I kept it hidden, and that was one of the problems, is because when you're confronted with mental illness, it's really easy to feel alone, completely and utterly alone, and that's how I felt. By this time, I remember my dad saying to me, he was like, something needs to change. We can't go on like this. This obviously wasn't healthy. And I just remember talking to my brother, Peter, and he said to me, he was like, there's this spirit in you that I don't see in anyone else. And he said, I know that you have this trial, but he said, you create your own happiness. And I will always, always remember that, because I'd never really thought of it like that. I'd always just kind of accepted, wow, this thing is wrong with me. This is going to be horrible for the rest of my life. This really sucks. I don't know how I'm going to be able to function normally anymore and be normal. But I realized there was a certain, to a certain extent, I could control how I felt. And that gave me so much strength and courage to really move on. And I think from that point, I was not motivated to really get a hold of myself until that point. And once that happened, I was like, I can do this. Things are still hard. They're definitely still hard. I still feel lonely, but I feel a lot better and more sure of who I am. What brings me joy is kind of being content with myself and my situation, because I feel like no matter how many passions you have, no matter how many extracurriculars you can totally delve into, if you're not happy and content with yourself, you're never really going to be completely happy.
There are times when Emily's really doing a great job at just navigating and learning to understand what's going on with her. But sometimes she does need help. And there was a day that she was having a hard day for some reason. And she asked me to come and pick her up from school. She just couldn't make it through the day. And I remember that when I went to the office, that there was a dad, and he was I don't know if he was bringing his daughter to school or if he was picking her up from school, but it was a student that was in a wheelchair. And I thought, And she was really sweet. I could see she was on her phone. I mean, she's just a typical, she's a typical student. And I thought to myself, every one of us has our challenges. Some are visible and some are hidden, but we all do. To be honest, for me as a parent, it's been pretty obvious to me that I'm not all that I'm not capable of solving all of Emily's problems or being, or having the kind of relationship maybe that she needs from a mom at all times. And so I've got my problems, but we just all keep, we all keep trying. And that's, I think, what this is about is just remembering that whether you see someone's issues or whether you can't see what their issues are, they're there, but they're there for us to learn from, and they're there for us to give us an opportunity to connect and help each other, and and love each other.
It's so important to be nice to really everyone, because I guarantee you everyone at this school has felt really, really sad at one point. You should be careful how you treat people, because everyone likes to feel happy, and being insensitive and being unkind doesn't make anyone feel good.
To me, it's just being loving and understanding and not judging others, but working on yourself and work on yourself being a better person, and don't impose your standards or expectations on others.
If anyone out there thinks they're battling a mental illness, whether it be anxiety, depression, etc., really focus on surrounding yourself with people who love you and who you love, but most importantly, do everything in your power to love yourself. You have to be your own best friend. This is something that you did not ask for. Every single day, I'm like, wow, it would be so great if I didn't feel like this. But I realize that's not the way to think, because you do feel like this, and all you can do is go from here. As part of Suicide Prevention Month, this film is dedicated to a topic that affects many people at our school, and to help those who feel despair, distress, sadness, or loneliness. You are not alone.
You are not alone.
You're not alone.
You are 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 not alone.